often communicate between members of a social group without vocalization. Body language and gestures are vital for their survival. However, they are not just as aggressive indicators, they can be play behaviours or affiliative behaviours. Let's start from the beginning. Foals are the essence of survival for horses. They're the next generation. Their first interactions with another horse is with their mother. Pheromones will be given off by both mother and foal after parturition in order for imprinting to occur, so that they will be able to recognise one another once introduced in a herd environment. Once they get bigger and are integrated with other foals, they will often initiate play behaviours that will gradually increase over 3 to 4 weeks as they move away from playing with their mothers to playing with other neonates. As you can see here, the foal runs away from his mother in order to match up with the other foal. This indicates the first foal is the most dominant when initiating play. Play behaviours can include nipping and biting around the shoulder area with ears forward and towards the other foal. Colts are more likely to initiate foal behaviours than fillies, and are more likely to rear, bite and chase compared to fillies, who are more likely to kick with their rear legs. The physical effects of playing help strengthen and develop the endurance and skills needed to build the neuromuscular pathways for fighting off predators or other horses in more serious situations. Galloping and snaking using agonistic behaviours can also be incorporated into play behaviours, as shown by these two. Investigating novel objects indicates the inquisitiveness foals will demonstrate, such as the blue blow-up object seen here. However, for this foal, the reward for playing outweighs the reward for investigating. As he bites and lowers his head with an untucked muzzle, the other foal comes over. The small rear from the furthest foal indicates that he wants to play too. In the next clip, the piebald foal is trying to initiate play with the cameraman by kicking out with all 4 limbs as he leaps around the field. This sort of behaviour can become very dangerous as the horse becomes a lot stronger and a lot bigger and can result in serious injuries for both the handler and the foal. A submissive gesture given off by a foal towards an older horse can be foal mouthing. This is the showing of the small foal teeth and is an indicator that the foal is young and cannot defend itself. Play behaviours don't only occur in foals, they also occur in adult horses too. Often initiated by grooming, playing within a dyadic pair can establish and strengthen the social bond between the two. The horses here are nipping and biting each other on the tops of their body with their heads raised. This is a strong indicator to us that it's only an affiliative play behaviour. Stallion to stallion interactions are perceived to be the most aggressive and dangerous interactions within domestic environments, and so are often kept separated. But what does happen if 2 stallions meet? As you can see here, the 2 stallions are separated by one another, and so nose-to-nose contact is initiated. When doing this, horses will be able to learn a lot about each other, such as their testosterone levels. This gesture is usually followed by a squeal or strike out. The grey stallion is now lifting his front leg as a strike threat towards the other stallion and could be thrown through if they weren't separated. As you can see here, the 2 stallions are initiating a nose-to-nose greeting followed by a boxing action. This is where 2 stallions rear up and strike out with alternating forelimbs towards each other. The bay horse will chase the other horse away from his arena while circling and dancing around each other. The biting actions towards each other are low and towards the forelimbs. This is where the horse will do most of its damage, if it is successful, and can damage the ligaments. The boxing coloured stallion has now forced the other stallion to the ground and is now able to get a more dominant position over the bay. However, the fight isn't over. The bay horse manages to get up and overpower the buckskin, dominating him and successfully chasing him away from his harem of mares and offspring. A different stallion here can now be seen moving in from the back of the widespread herd and moves towards one of the bay mares, wanting to steal her away. But the bay stallion is ready to defend. He walks over, greeting the grey. The mare, loyal to her stallion, walks away before the fight can begin. But the bay stallion quickly turns in his hindquarters and delivers a double-barrel kick to the grey stallion's chest and side, forcing him to move on. The lack of severe fight indicates that the grey is young and is yet to establish dominant behaviours that will later allow him to steal mares away from other stallions so that he can create his own harem. The bay stallion trots away and stands beside his bay mare. Similarly, the Appaloosa horse is being chased away by the herd in a threatening and dominant behaviour shown by the black horse. It is exempling double-barrelling and chasing the horse backwards, forcing the Appaloosa away from the group. This snaking long and low posture with the ears pinned back is a common indicator that the stallion is driving its herd. This bay horse is seen urinating over the top of his mare's poo piles. This masks the smell for other stallions, so they cannot work out whether the mare has been impregnated or whether they are an estrus. A bachelor band is a group of juvenile stallions that have no social dominance in the main herd and group together before they are mature enough to acquire their own harem. For these stallions, they are being grouped together in a domesticated environment rather than in the wild, but the behaviours are still the same. By using a very detailed ethogram written by McDonald and Haviland, these stallions are exhibiting prime stallion behaviours that will demonstrate the social hierarchy of their new group. The buckskin stallion is being chased by the bay stallion as the other two follow. The snaking and chasing actions with the low neck position and the ears pinned flat against the head as he drives the buckskin stallion around the field. The other two continue to follow the bay. It should be advised that it is very dangerous to stand in the field as these behaviours are exhibited. If the stallions get too close, then it can cause serious injury to the handler. The two stallions here can be seen in an intense dance as they go up in close proximity and interlock their legs together, shuffling their hind legs whilst biting each other's head and neck. The uneven surfaces force the bay horse to move down the hill, but they continue to circle each other as the fight continues. Biting forelimbs, kicking and rearing are only a few behaviours these stallions will exhibit when establishing dominance. The buckskin stallion then chases the bay horse down the hill and away from him as the bay avoids the bite threats. For these two bay horses, however, they show different behaviours. The round, tucked neck is a confident shine of a stallion, but is met with a front kick from the other horse coming in from the right. Biting and lunging from both horses before the bay on the right mounts the other is a show of dominance. However, it is followed by a kick from the left and the bay horse runs off back down the hill. Aggressive behaviours are not only seen between stallions but between any horse. Bite threats usually occur before an actual bite. The horses here are using agonistic bite threats. It should be noted that they differ from affiliative behaviour as the neck has a higher position and the ears are pinned back as shown by these two black horses. Following on from a bite threat is an actual bite. For horses, they're a last resort in a herd's hierarchy. The low and confident driving behaviour that the horse on the right is demonstrating shows that he is the more dominant of the two, forcing the other to be pushed away and chased. When bite threats are aimed at humans, they will be similar to those shown towards other horses and can be followed through if the human doesn't move and isn't aware of the horse's actions, so become very dangerous towards the human and the horse. Another aggressive behaviour shown by horses is chasing, where the head and neck is lowered whilst the ears are pinned backwards. In feral situations, the most dominant horse will drive their herd for new resources and away from danger. As you can see here, in domesticated environments, it is most commonly seen around food and is displayed by the most dominant horse in the dyadic pair. Mutual grooming is one of the major affiliative behaviours given off by horses, and is where two horses stand side by side, usually head to tail, grooming each other's neck, mane, rump or tail by nipping, muzzling or rubbing. It can reduce a horse's heart rate and increase their endorphin levels. It is fundamental for building social bonds and reducing social tension. Females are often reported to mutually groom more than males. It is often initiated and ended by the most dominant pair of the dyad, and occurs between similarly ranked horses within the harem. Kimura once reported that mutual grooming can be seasonal, with the highest frequencies of mutual grooming being observed in the summer and the lowest in the winter. As you can see in this clip, the chestnut horse at the back initiates the behaviour and the piebald accepts the contact and grooms the chestnut back, indicating the chestnut is the most dominant of the dyad. This video showed key behaviours given off by horses in feral and domesticated environments in order to communicate with one another, explaining the functions and intent of those behaviours and why else they might be exhibited. I touched briefly on hierarchy formations, mare and stallion behaviour, mare and foal behaviour, agonistic and aggressive interactions, affiliative behaviours and play behaviours, so that this knowledge can hopefully be applied to many situations for us to gain a better understanding of the aims and objectives of these behaviours.